What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show here on Sherdog.com. And it's another crazy night in the world of mixed martial arts as the third One Championship card on Amazon Prime went down over in Kuala Lumpur. There was actually some very, very good fights, some big results, some good finishes and all of that on the card, but a crazy main event, as there always seems to be in mixed martial arts, that ended in a crazy manner. We will 100% get to that. But 3 titles on the line in 3 different sports in this one. Like the 162 card, I think they probably saved the best for the top of the card with the jiu-jitsu, with the Muay Thai, and with the MMA up until obviously the end, and we will get into that. But yeah, all in all, I think it's one of those ones where, because the main event ended in a grind shot, and when a fight ends like that, I suppose it's disappointing for everyone. But if you leave that to the side for a second, it was actually a very, very good kind of top of the card for One Championship, and they would have been delighted with it only for that reason. But let's talk about that, I suppose, because the main event between John Lineker and Fabricio de Andrade was a blood and thunder affair, I suppose, early. Coming into this fight, I did the preview and I did the bets as well, and it was all about the front foot. Whoever would win the front foot would win this fight, and that was correct, but it wasn't necessarily who won the front foot first won the fight, because that was that was Andrade initially, and then it went to Lineker for a while, then it went back to Andrade for a while, and it was a topsy-turvy type of fight. That's easy for me to say. With a lot of different integers in deciding who the winner was in the end. As I said, to go through the fight, I suppose, a bit, Andrade was winning that front foot battle at the start. A knee hurt John Lineker, and then a 1-2 down the middle hurt him as well, followed by another knee, followed by a head kick. And I suppose it was the takedown of Lineker that maybe turned the tide a little bit, or not even a little bit, a large bit in this one. And coming into it, I spoke about that as well, that Lineker does have in his locker, going back and watching some of his fights, like, he wants to get the forward pressure. If someone else robs that of him, takes the forward pressure, Lineker will go for takedowns. He will pop in underneath, because, the kind of, I suppose, the motion that Lineker throws those big hands with opens people up. And if they are open up, thinking a big hook is coming down underneath and going for the takedown is actually like a very achievable position for him. And that wasn't necessarily what he got here at the first point, although he did get another takedown in the second round, and it was more from that. But he got it kind of in a scramble here, and it was a lovely takedown. Ground and pound, very good ground and pound on top from John Lineker, but he didn't hold it for long. He was able to get the clinch after, and they kind of got back up, and then they separated. And you could see the second the separation happened, that Andrade, he just has better striking than John Lineker. It's as simple as that. His striking was just far superior to John Lineker in that first round, when they were dry, when they were fit, when they were all, when everything was equal, I suppose. Lineker did land one lovely counter left, and he was going forward. So at the start, Andrade taking the forward pressure, Lineker did, but Andrade was making him pay. And even though it was bringing Lineker back into the striking, I think that the shots that Andrade was kind of landing off the back foot were too costly for Lineker, and the advantage of the forward pressure wasn't enough of an advantage to kind of to win him the fight well, if you want to put it that way. In the second round, then Andrade kind of let him come forward, I think, a little bit, and he just used his length a lot more. So he was just jabbing from the outside, jabbing away. If Lineker came forward, he was jabbing and moving, going around. When he went forward, he was just jabbing the face off Lineker going forward, and you saw towards the end of the round what happened to that face because of those big jabs and because of those big shots. Before that, though, Lineker did get another takedown, as I mentioned earlier on, when he I suppose opened up Andrade a little bit defensively with the hooks and the thought of the hooks coming, I suppose, but immediately got up again. Another left hook from John Lineker. Look, he always does it. Nice hooks to the body, lovely combination. This was kind of the first time, I think, where Lineker actually landed some good combinations in the middle of the second. But the face was swelling up and it looked really, really bad towards the end. And Lineker got slower and slower and slower in the second round for me. At the end of the round, the eye looked really bad. I thought the fight was going to be stopped. I was very surprised it wasn't, if I'm being honest, because we'll talk about it later on, but a couple of fights, one fight especially was stopped in between rounds for an injury. And this eye looked really, really bad, so I thought it'd be stopped, because of that. Starting the third, the eye, look, when they came out for the third, the eye was closed. It was just absolutely closed. And Andrade, smartly enough, if the fight goes on, keep fighting. He just kept jabbing it up and jabbing it up and jabbing it up. What I thought was, and it's not surprising that Lineker did this, but it's surprising that it happened, I suppose. Lineker fought surprisingly well for a guy whose eye was basically closed. I thought he was kind of leaning away from that side, and all the jabs that Andrade were landing were on the other side. I think it was his right eye. So they were landing on this side, and he was throwing that left over the top. And actually landing it pretty well and doing pretty well. Now, he wasn't winning the round or anything like that, or there wasn't a comeback on, I don't think, but for a guy who looked so badly hurt, he was fighting very, very well. But then it got bad because Andrade was starting to kind of push forward a little bit. Came inside. Now, there was a shot. I'm not sure, actually. I'm recording this directly after, so they haven't played any great replays or anything of it. Maybe they don't have the angle, but there was a shot, and I'm not sure if it was low or to the body, and it made Lineker kind of go back. Andrade went straight forward. The ref didn't call it, so I have to assume, I suppose, it's to the body. Lineker, went backwards. Andrade came forward and hit him with a massive knee right to the cup. No doubt about this one. Absolutely an illegal blow right to the cup. And Lineker went down. He was down for ages and ages and ages. I was actually doing the press conference at the time asking questions, and I was like, which is going in first, the press conference or the low blow timeout, I suppose. And I think it actually was the press conference, to be honest, because Lineker wasn't. I don't know if it was that he wasn't able to continue. It's funny enough, obviously, I think both lads are probably going to the hospital after that one, so they weren't able to come out for media availability, and Chachery wasn't either, so I didn't get the chance to ask. But was it a case of he was too injured and he couldn't continue? Or it felt like the cup broke. So when he hit him with a knee to the cup, his groin guard broke. That's what they said in commentary. So they were kind of saying, they're looking for a new one. They're trying to get a new one. And was that it? Like, surely they could have found a new one. There was 15 other lads or 16 other lads or whatever fought earlier on. Surely one of them would have had a cup. They could have given him. I know it's disgusting or whatever, but I don't think it was that, to be fair. I think they probably would have got that. But the fight ended no contest due to the accidental low blow. I suppose it was the fair thing to do at that stage. Look, for Lineker, it was an awful bad kick, and if it breaks the cup, I don't think anyone's accusing John Lineker of lying down or anything like that. But it was, he's probably going to lose at that stage. His eye was badly closed. He was losing all the rounds. Little bit of a blessing in disguise. Kicked in the balls, probably as hard as you've ever gotten kicked in the balls before. He'd probably take it. He'd probably take it, I'd say. So, look, a disappointing into the night. A very, very good, interesting fight before that. But, as I said, a bit disappointing other than that. Then we had the kickboxing matchup between Regian Eeersel and Sinsamut Klinmee. Very interesting 5 rounds for the belt at 170 pounds. Split decision win for Eeersel. Spoke to him afterwards in the press conference. He was a bit surprised. He said he didn't think it was a split decision, but he thought he won well. He said he didn't think it was a close fight, which is interesting. I thought it was a close fight overall. If you're to score the fight as a whole, which World Championship did, it probably would be a close fight. But in the rounds, I think he did. And he said to me as well, I asked him about the way he fought in terms of starting slow and getting not necessarily quicker, but upping the pace of the variety and the amount of strikes he was landing and the pace as well, obviously, of which he was striking. But I think it was a slow start by both guys, if I'm being honest. Some leg kicks from both of them early. Look, the leg kicks throughout the whole fight were definitely a story, especially from Klinmee. He answered, I suppose, called first, if not answered is the wrong word. He called first with a body kick, which was very, very nice. Big right hand from Eersel, followed by another in the first round. So we kind of kicked off maybe a minute and 20 into the first round after a very, very slow start. Both kind of typical upright Muay Thai stances, I suppose, if you're an MMA fan. Jose Aldo type of very, very tight, technical, good Muay Thai. Klinmee landed to the body throughout the first round. Eersel landed the hard leg kicks. Two straight lefts, or two straight rights even, from Klinmee towards the end of the round were very, very good. Eersel started to push the pace. And do you know what? It actually helped Klinmee counter. So I thought he won the first round and won it pretty well. In the second round, Eersel was definitely pushing forward more, and it was all him in that second round. Landed some lovely knees in the clinch, landed some lovely leg kicks, and was countering very, very well. You know, they described him, I suppose, on the commentary and in the press conference as well as someone who loves to go forward, and maybe it's a little bit surprising when he let Klinmee go forward, but he was winning in that position and he was happy enough to do it. And he kind of said himself as well, look, you know, I can fight in every position, and I was happy enough to do that as well. The third round in, the Klinmee leg kick again was really a big factor here. He was trying to push ahead, landed a few hard rights. Eersel jabbed back into forward position, but Klinmee still kicked the legs. He was landing loads of shots. I thought it was a better round for him, and I thought he won that third round. So very, very interested at the midway point. And I thought it was probably 2-1 to Klinmee there. In the fourth round again, and it wasn't a midway point, but 3 of the 5 rounds done. Loads of leg kicks again from Klinmee, but this time Eersel was kind of landing back, I think, a lot better than previously. Lots of hands thrown in this round, but a very good defense all around. I thought that was the closest round of the first 4. Very, very close. Was it 2-2? Was it 3-1? I don't think you can complain either way after that. But in the 5th, Eersel jabbing to the body, landing more kicks. And he really took this fight away from Klinmee, I think, in the 5th. Now, if you had him down 3-1, it wouldn't have been enough, but he did anyway. A nice body shot from Klinmee towards the start of the round was probably his best thing, but Eersel was leading very well. Klinmee landed nothing big really after that. A few leg kicks. Big Eersel right hand late was a lovely, lovely shot. Klimnee's face just started to absolutely open up and bleed, and it was all red. So Eersel definitely won that last round. And I think it all comes down to the 4th, to be honest. It's 2-2 in 1, 2, 3 and 5. And in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not a Muay Thai scoring expert or anything like that. I think it came down to a close 4th. Whoever you like in that probably won it. I would probably give it to Eersel, so I think the right guy won in that one. Then we had BJJ. So here we go. Here's Sean Sheehan, BJJ expert, about to give a BJJ breakdown. Here we go. Kade Ruotolo versus Uali Kurzhev. Now, Kade came out afterwards, said he wants to move to MMA. He's definitely going to have an MMA fight next year, in the first 6 months of next year. In fact, he said wants Shinya Aoki. Very, very interesting. And this was like an MMA fight, to be honest, because, and I said it to him as well in our press conference, and he was kind of going, yeah, it was rough and tumble. Uali came out, and he at one stage he just put his like hand in the throat of Ruotolo and literally palm punched him right in the throat, and then he was pulling his head down, and it kicked him at one stage like in a trip. It wasn't a trip, it was a calf kick. So Uali was not taking this easily at all, and you know what, Ruotolo did not take a backward step. He didn't mind at all. He was like, come on, let's do it. As I said, kicking the legs, grabbing the head. Uali got a big throw in, but Ruotolo took the back. Beautiful. So flattened him out again like an MMA fight. Got the back, two hooks in, flattened him out, looking for the rear naked choke. Didn't get it. Almost got the arm triangle from the back. There's probably the jiu-jitsu nuts out there. Probably tell me a better name for that, but it was like an arm in rear naked choke from the back, arm triangle from the back. I don't know what it was. Someone in the comment section, BJJ nuts in the comment section, let me know exactly what the name of that submission is. But Uali defended very well, got back up. And then there was a standing rear naked choke because he kept him on his back. Ruotolo wouldn't get off him, but Uali slammed him down Again, rough and tumble stuff here. Uali stood back up because he landed on top. Very good to land on top. But like stand back up, I felt this like Uali was never going to win. Like he might survive, but he was never going to win. Like he got on top, he got into the position you'd want to be in, and he's like, oh fuck that. I stood back up and go, I'm not grappling with this lad. It's a jiu-jitsu match. He's like, I'm not grappling with him. You know what? I wouldn't blame him. To be honest, I wouldn't fucking grapple with him either. But he didn't. And that's when the throat grabbing incident happened. No one really said much about it, but I was here watching it, expected it to be non-contact like BJJ's, and he's boom, right into the throat. Flying triangle attempt in my opinion, maybe not. I don't know, jiu-jitsu people know better than me. From Kade, didn't get it, landed on his back. Tried a takedown, got his back briefly, then he landed on top to Ruotolo, and he stood up, dropped for a heel hook, and tapped him, and that was that. Very, very good stuff. Won the belt. Do you know what? They spend the whole commentary or the whole broadcast talking about the belt and how lovely it is. They're right. It's a lovely belt. Do you know what? I really, really like their belt. I would love one myself. See, there's a gap there in the wall behind me. I need a belt for there. Throw it up there. Send me a belt there, Shatri, and I'll put it up on the wall by me. It is a lovely belt. So yeah, that was those are the 3 title fights, and we will run through the rest of the card. Next up was another kickboxing match, even between Sithichai and Boutasaa. Mohammed Boutasaa, whose name I can't pronounce. Mohammed, much taller. Sithichai was landing well to the body with kicks, both fighting out of the southpaw position in the first round, both throwing lots. Late, not much between them, I thought, in the first round. In the second round, Boutasaa was throwing mad altogether, landing off the back foot, lands a hard head kick. Arguably knockdown as well at one stage. I'm not sure what a knockdown is, to be honest, because there was lads getting knocked down and they weren't calling them. I'm not sure. Massive amount of strikes landed. Sithichai came back in the Indo and landed a few himself. Sithichai pressure paying off late. Lovely straight left hands. An absolutely brilliant round. If you want to watch a round of kickboxing from this weekend, that's the one to watch. Second round of this. Third round, Sithichai coming forward, throwing hands. Brought the heat, thinking he was behind. Big wheel kick, rolling thunder kick. Lands big lefts late. Boutasaa landed one late on the fence, but that was all he landed in the third, and it went against him because Sithichai won that one. Sithichai won that one. And there was a bit of controversy after Mohammed thought he won it. Kind of stormed off when the decision was read, but I agreed with it. I thought it was right. I thought Sithichai did enough to come back at the end of the second round and won it, so very, very good. The next 2 fights were probably the 2 fights I was looking forward to most on the card and the win. First of all, Woong Kim versus SHamil Gasanov. Gasanov did exactly what you need to do here against Kim. He played the perfect game plan. Anyone who listened to my preview coming in, anyone who watched any Kim fights before this, was a Martin Wynn fight, wasn't it, if I'm not mistaken, where he knocked him out. What Kim does, he acts like he's playing a long game. He acts like he's jabbing from the outside and was wanting to touch you up from the outside and kind of encourages you to come in when he doesn't throw a jab or something like that, wanting to counter you in the pocket. So the worst thing you can do against Kim is actually eat that bait and come into the pocket and try to land big shots inside. And Gasanov absolutely did not do that. He did not do it. He was kicking the leg from the outside. When he did go inside, it was cutting off the cage. It wasn't gassing into range and leaving yourself open. And when he did get inside, big double leg. Actually, it wasn't when he got inside. He refused to go inside, so it made Kim come forward. And the first time he came forward, SHamil went underneath, got a double leg, and put him on the ground. Perfect. Exactly what you need to do. He wants to bait you out, but you baited him out, and then you did exactly what you want, and you put him on the ground, and that was that basically. Kim defended very well when he was thrown a couple of times. Got back up, but the third time there was no getting back up. Gasanov took the back, rear naked choke. That was that. It was so easy once he got the fight to the ground. His chain wrestling so good. His strength so good. His throws so good. Gasanov, this guy, I think he's 9-0 now. A legit fighter. Called out Gary Tonin afterwards. That'd be fun. Wrestler versus grappler. Let's do it. He's like MMA, RBJJ or whatever. He doesn't mind. You know what? I'd watch it 100%. The next one then, Jeremy Miado versus Daniel Williams. And what a fight this was. You know, a lot of talk coming in was Williams was probably the better striker. And by God, did Miado show that wasn't the case here. The fight started with a low kick again from Miado, a big right hand from Williams, but Williams was hurt worse with the right that came back. Miado landed a few more after replying with a few right hands. Takedown from Miado, then Williams got knocked down hard when they got back up, almost finished with a knee. Then he got knocked down, went to kind of, I don't know if he just on the ground or went to stand back up, but as he was on the ground, massive knee, but survived it. The chin on Daniel Williams, absolutely unbelievable. It was even enough for a while in the second, but Miado just landing the harder shots. Miado Williams badly hurt in the last 2 minutes. Absolutely incredible chin. Miado just, even when the fight was even, Miado was winning, if you get me. He was landing the cleaner, harder strikes, which is weird considering, you know, Daniel Williams went toe to toe with Rodtang. That's how good Miado is. An absolute phenomenal performance here. Miado straight right knockdown at the start of the third, hurt badly. Step in left hook was there all night, and Herb kind of finally stopped it. Herb didn't have a great night, to be honest. This, I was talking to a couple of lads and everyone kind of said, oh, this should have probably been stopped in the second round. Now, it would have been one of those stoppages where I think everyone would have probably agreed with it, but the fighter if it was stopped in the second. But yeah, stopped in the third. Bit of a mercy stoppage was warranted, but look, it wasn't the worst in the world from Herb, and he did stop it in the end. But what a performance from Miado. Definitely want to see him in again. The next bout on the card then, Asatin Pau against Mehdi Zaouz. That was in the Muay Thai 135 pound division. Mehdi just ultra confident. He immediately made me a fan. This was his 90th fight or something. I don't think I've seen him before, and he retired afterwards. Spoiler alert. But he made me a fan in the however many minutes this fight went. Hands down, moving his head, lovely body kicks. Tin Pao was hurt badly with a right hand, but almost KO'd Mehdi with the spinning elbow. They didn't even call that in commentary. I actually don't blame him because it was really, really quick, but he landed a massive spinning elbow and Mehdi just walked through it. It feels like Tin Pao broke his orbital from the big right hand that happened, holding his head. And he couldn't come back out for was it the second or the third round? Let me just check here. It was, so went one round. He couldn't come back out for the second round. Looked like something like a broken orbital. Obviously, that's not confirmed or anything, but the second he landed that right hand, did Mehdi. He held his head and he was like, oh, and he couldn't, he went on to the end of the round, but he couldn't come back out then. Zatut's two kids came in afterwards. They gave him 50 grand. He retired. Absolutely brilliant moment. Absolutely, lovely to see it and all. So that was absolutely great. I said absolutely about 12 times there. Anyway, the opening fight of the night. Look, you had one person who was a very good prospect, looked like a very good prospect coming through, and another person who looked like they probably will never fight in MMA again. Now, that's very harsh, but anyone who watched the fight, and I'm here to give my honest opinion and honest assessment, I think that probably is it. Look, Bivins tried her best. She was closing the distance early, but she was just judo throwing. Noelle Grandjean looked a different level of athlete in there. Bivins did look for the armbar, so she was game early. Fight got up. Bivins was tall, but she didn't use it. Tried to clinch again, thrown again. And this time Bivins decided to take her time. So she was like, well, look, that's not working. Let's just try to kind of stand on the outside. And there was nothing happened for about 2 minutes. And then Grandjean threw one punch right down the middle and hit her in the solar plexus. Now, this wasn't a punch to the liver. This wasn't a rib breaker. This wasn't one where you get hit and you immediately go down and there's nothing more you can do. She got hit in the solar plexus and immediately looked over at Herb Dean and just went, no, I'm not fighting no more. I never say this, but she absolutely quit. I do the same. Someone punched me into something, I do the same. So I'm not criticising or anything. I'm just telling you what happened. She absolutely 100% gave up and quit. But Herb didn't stop the fight. Herb being Herb, let it go. Grandjean landed a few more shots, and then he came in and stopped it. But like, someone literally like verbally tapped Herb and nah. Literally like waved herself, like she fucking Herb Dean waving herself off, and Herb was like nah, keep going. And Grandjean did keep going, landed some big shots, but eventually it was stopped, and someone did Herb Dean's job for him. But yeah, look, Grandjean 4-0 now, looks like a good prospect. Bivins 0-1. You know, maybe I think she's only 20. Maybe she learned from this. Maybe she come back. Maybe she needs more training, more sparring, and everything like that. But yeah, it was a rough night at the office for her, and not great at all. But yeah, everything else pretty good. I went through it all there. They're all pretty good fights, to be honest. You know, unfortunately, what happened in the main event. But look, sometimes these things happen in mixed martial arts. All right, everyone, I leave it there. My name is Sheehan for Sherdog.com, and I'll see you all next time.